So my doctor told me that my numbers were just through the roof. Previously, I did a physical examination and like blood tests and just blood pressure, everything was just like not good for my age. And of course, the number one, indicator and factor was stress. That's why I mentioned in my first video is it impacted my health. It was a medical concern up until that point, right? So after discussing those things with my doctor, what to do, we got off the phone, and reality was still there. Like, I have this medical issue. I'm no longer employed. I have, a mortgage. What the F am I going to do? But I just still remember looking out at the window, and a weight did lift from me. I can't explain it, but a weight did lift from me, because after getting the notification from the doctor, like, I told myself I cannot continue stressing. There was no need. At that point, I cannot continue to stress, because I felt as though I was suffocating, literally suffocating. And I had to tell myself, you're going to be okay. You are going to be okay. At first, I whisper it, right? And then I said it out loud. Because I said it out loud because, I was the only person in the office. So, of course, I'm going to speak to myself. I said out loud, like, you're going to be okay. And then alter ego kicked in, say, like, you got this. You got this. Like, girl, you've been through everything. Everything. Why would God let you go now? And I just let it go. And I kept telling myself, it's going to be okay. And then once everything started like soothing out, and I just sat there and just started thinking, my mind just went into like beast mode immediately. Like, what do I do now? What can I do? How can I do it? When you go back to school, who, what, when, where, how. But I was just like, my mind was just going like crazy, like a background app, like it was just going crazy. Like, what can I do? Like, what am I going to do? Like, how do I push forward, right? And I think the first thing I did is log on the computer. I still had access, right? I logged on the computer, logged on my assets, make sure I got all my information, pay stubs, everything that I could have access to, saved it on my drive. And I just applied for unemployment. That was the first thing I did. I was proactive. It's like, I got this. I had it before, I had it then, and I have it now. And I think that's what mentality I was in, is not only having that mindset that I was going to be okay, but I had to proactively place action with my mindset. Like, I didn't know if I was going to be okay. I knew I was going to be okay. It was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time. And I recall telling myself, or writing in my journal, one or the other, is that within that time, what am I going to do? What lessons have I learned in this? How can I push forward? And also to forgive myself. right? Or is I apply for unemployment. During that time, during the pandemic, everyone, who was not employed were able to get unemployment, because thankfully, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, I did have, a few months of savings, but I didn't want to dip into my savings knowing that I could get some form of income. And with the pandemic, I'm just really grateful that with the COVID federal, additional payment they give unemployment, it did give me a little bit of boost and leeway to cover my expenses during the time that I was unemployed. So I'm really grateful for that. And also during that time as well is just reaching out to my contact, my friends, anyone that I was in contact with, that to let them know the situation and where I was, and my industry, and any career or job prospects, let your girl know. And one in particular was reaching inside into my Facebook group for my online program. There were others that were locally in my area in South Florida, and by God's grace, they were able to extend job prospects to me. And two, I was able to get an interview from. So I was really grateful for that. So everything was just, going in motion. Like things were just happening. And going in motion. And like I mentioned before, that I just knew in the meantime, that I just had to place that action with my mindset. Like I just knew I was going to be okay. I just had to place, where I wanted to be, how I was going to do. So just continuously moving. And I'm just also really grateful that my network of friends inside my circle were just extremely helpful, especially my best friend, that she was able to help me revamp my resume, highlight my skill sets, my knowledge, especially now as a master graduate. I was able to highlight that in my resume as well. And we even discussed like different career prospects as well. Like if I want to stay in healthcare, if I want to just try something different. And I'm just happy I was able to discuss that with her, of like the different options that's out there and what employers might be looking for, right? Because I think with the pandemic, kind of just shift on employers of what they actually need and what is essential, I guess. So doing that, putting my resume out there, applying for positions. So I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month after I was laid off. I think I had like 3 or 4 interviews, like prior to the holidays, the Christmas holidays, entering the new year 2021. So I had a few interviews, and as time progressed and move on, I just knew it. Things were going to just pan out. It's going to be okay. But again, like I mentioned, it was about what's happening in between that time. And what I did, knowing that, I was receiving unemployment income at the time, is I had to really look at my budget. Like, aside from fixed expenses, like what can I execute from my budget? Like no longer get your nails done. At that time, I still, had my temper cut. So I wasn't really, doing my hair, but all the extra things aside from, my fixed expenses was a luxury. And I identified as a luxury at that time because they weren't needed or warranted at that time for me. So I really start looking into my budget, start executing things that I no longer need. The Netflix gotta go, the Hulu gotta go. Those things I was able to pause. I didn't have to pay for it. So aside from essential needs like, my phone, my auto insurance, the light, bills, those things remain the same. But everything else, I really tried to kind of dig down to see what do I need. I've done that. So really just, again, reviewing my budget, guttering, the expenses, things I didn't need anymore. And it just made me reevaluate too, moving forward, that some things are just not necessary, right? If you have food, shelter, a car, and it gets you to point A to point B, that's covered. You have a phone. Yeah. What else do you need, right? So reaching out to my contacts, like reviewing my budget, preparing for interviews, like really researching the company. And I think actually, in just retrospect, with the previous employer, is that I didn't do my due diligence. I really did not research the company as much as I should have. And it just gave me a valuable lesson too, that sometimes money is just not enough. You have to be happy within the social construct of your organization or the culture of the organization. Is it a good fit for you? Does it align with your goals? What others say? So what I did was actually research companies I was applying to. So the great thing about LinkedIn, they have the feature where you can, go on the website of the company, but also you can reach out to current employees or previous employees and just get some people are reluctant, some people love to share and talk about, the company and their position. And I was able to actually reach out to some previous employees and current employees and just pick their brain, like how they like the culture, their management, like, how is the organization as a whole? Do they feel appreciated? Is there opportunities to grow within the company? Do they feel they have those opportunities as well? So I was really engaging on LinkedIn and talking to people that, companies that I was interested in, especially the one that I got hired currently in my position. So it seemed like a great culture, a good fit. And speaking to the current employees, they enjoy their position. 3 months after I got laid off, I was offered two positions. I was offered two positions, and I decided on the position I have now as an analyst. I am a part of a great organization, a known healthcare organization that I really like. And I think with everything that happened to me, from closing on my home, graduating, moving, getting laid off, it just makes me come to understanding and have more gratitude of the opportunities that I have, but also be very mindful of red flags and being mindful of, knowing myself if I'm a good fit at the company as well, like my goals and things I want to achieve personally. Does it align well with the organization that I would like to work with, right? So those are the things and lessons that I learned. And also is don't panic. Don't panic. It's always best to not only have a positive mindset, but also be proactive with your mindset. And I think that what really got me to the point that I am now. It was tough. I will say it was very tough. I'm not saying that, overnight thing just happened. I will say that things happen for a reason, and you have to be prepared and place yourself in those positions so that it can happen for you. That's what I believe in. And I think it just all worked out for the better. It all worked out for the better. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think. But before I do not forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Alanta. In the meantime, in between time, be safe, be kind. Peace.